actually agree. I think XRP would do better out of the gate. I think the average opinion of Solana is better than it is for XRP across crypto investors. But that's not who buys the ETF on day one.
Exactly.
It's passion, right? And so I went to an XRP conference in Vegas on a Saturday. There were 1,200 people in the room. Every seat was taken. That's crazy. Try to get that in a TradFi conference. No one's going on a Saturday. There is an army of people who are really passionate about XRP, and I think it would do exceptionally well out of the gate. It doesn't matter, again, that 90% of people hate it. What matters is 10% of people love it. That's what drives the flows on those initial days. And I think it would do well. If Solana is ripping, I think Solana is facing somewhat of a narrative transition that it's going through. And so depending on when it launched and where it is in that transition, I think that would matter a lot. If Solana is ripping, it would do well. But my base case out of the gate would be XRP.
Good evening, Warriors. Hello and welcome back to another episode of your favorite crypto news related channel. And today we got a special episode prepared for you all because not only are we going to be talking about the ETF demand for XRP, Johnny, we're going to be talking about the price action that we're experiencing right now. Maximum fear is entering the market for newer XRP investors. And yes, you're a veteran. Most of our live chat is as well. So I want to give a special shout out to every single live listener who's been here with us since 2022. 40 cent XRP, 80 cent XRP, $1.20 XRP. These were higher price targets for our community. Now we're talking about a pullback taking us down to $3.13. I think it tells us just how much has changed over the past 8 months. And this whole journey here, guys, is just getting started. Now, I've said it time and time again for the XRP community. What we need, daily closure over 260, got it. Weekly closure over 285, got it. This is a much larger move. Now, we are in a consolidation, back testing the previous all-time highs for the XRP price chart right around $3. And as you guys can tell, the buyer demand is stepping into this market. We are looking at a daily time frame. And I'm also excited to take you guys through who's been selling XRP. But we're looking at a daily time frame here. And Johnny, what did the candle wick do earlier today? We came down as low as $2.98 on the price chart. Now, we ended up closing the candle at about $3.14. And today, we are getting some of that trading between 308 and 313. So very tight trading range, only been open for about an hour and a half. But I think a lot of people in the XRP community right now are either fearful or excited. Not a lot of middle ground for this community when it comes to the price action we're seeing today. I just want to remind you guys, we got over 1,500 live listeners, 400 watching on the brand new Good Evening Crypto channel. We're also going to pay our love and respect, thoughts and prayers to Hulkamania. Johnny Krypto, we had a meet and greet with Hulk Hogan on January, I think it was like 24th or 28th, 2024, only about a year and a half ago. Pretty crazy that he passed away today. Thoughts and prayers to Hulkster and his family, Johnny Krypto. But I just want to say all this, and then we're going to kick it right over to Johnny. XRP community, these pullbacks are totally normal. We are up 625% in only the last 8 months. And this pullback we're experiencing today, this is 16% from our previous all-time highs. So this is nothing, especially in the macro. But even if we're looking under micro circumstances, the signing of the Genius Act has already passed. The Clarity Act is being debated in August. And these crypto ETFs are going to be approved sometime later this fall. So hang in there. Hang tight, Johnny Krypto, like a tick on a dog, as they say. First of all, how are you feeling and what's your reaction? $3.13 XRP on a pullback. Some people call it a gift. Other people, terrified.
I wouldn't worry about that right now. What I would say, first of all, is good evening to all the crypto maniacs out there. We love and appreciate you. And definitely a huge, huge shout out. Many deaths this week. So shout out to all those fans. But in particular, one that I got to give a big shout out to is the Hogan family. Obviously, I'm a huge Hulkster fan. Growing up, he was like my childhood, what you gonna do, brother? And so, it's really cool, Abs, that we actually did get to meet him in this very shirt that I'm wearing right now. You can see he signed that shirt when you and I were together in his shop in Florida. So it was awesome to get to meet him. If Hogan were here right now, you know what he would say, Abs? About the way he said, what you gonna do when XRP mania runs wild on you? Because that's what's going to happen, Abs. At the end of the day, we're just getting started. Anybody who's worried about this price, you don't understand what you hold. You don't understand how the markets work. And that's why, you should be here to be able to learn that. Listen, guys, there's always going to be natural pullbacks. This is why we say take profits along the way up, because then you can also potentially rebound and buy back in more on the way down. And so you saw that thing came down to what, about 296, 95 wick, and bang, that thing got bought up right away. Like, nope, not going to handle, not going to stay there. So there's a lot of, that tells you there's a lot of buying activity somewhere in that range. And to me, like, we're just going to range up, right? You're going to level and you're going to come up. And to be honest, I was talking to Mario yesterday, and I actually told him, I want to pull back. I want to see a healthy pullback. People understand you need the pullbacks, because when things go up like that and you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles in a row, there's a lot of people who are like, I want out. I want a profit. Bought in 40, 50 cents, bought lower, and they're nervous, right? And they want to lock those profits in. Well, good. You want to shake them out. And these red candles are shaking out all the, what we call the weak hands. And now all the diamond holders will eventually prevail once you shake out all the red. Now, what you don't know in this space is how much shake and bake you got to do to get that red out, right? And now we're seeing it. Now, this is just the beginning. We'll see where this thing levels out in abs. We may build another bull flag pennant in this zone and then bust out to the next level up. But, if you listen to BC Backer and all the other ones, they will tell you that basically you need these pullbacks are very, very healthy in nature. And the more you get them, the higher up you go.
I completely agree, Johnny. And we're going to listen to a little bit of BC Backer here, guys, talking about the XRP price chart.
For XRP, obviously, we spent about 5 days trying to buck through this resistance over in here, where we saw the resistance for the crypto strategic reserve announcement from Trump when it included XRP, Cardano, and Solana. This was our breakout level. This is now a back test happening in here, now likely to range until the breakout can happen for Bitcoin. Now, back in 2024, when the price ripped from 50 cents to nearly $3, we saw multiple corrections of this size as XRP marched its way up. Not just this one in here, but the next one was the same size. And that, even doing these things and just continuing the velocity, you could still just keep marching and marching. And depending on Bitcoin, right, how long is it going to take for Bitcoin to break out? But if Bitcoin were like to break out today or tomorrow or something like that, this thing could still just continue at a trajectory, be hitting, mid 8s by August. And to just show that even this would be moving on that same trajectory, well, what's the region? What's the region we're looking for here? Or I'm looking for? I'm just looking for 177% from where we are right now. Well, what is 177% on the price chart? Just about there.
There you have it, Johnny Krypto. So like you said, these pullbacks of 14, 16%, totally normal, both for Bitcoin and the altcoins, even during alt season. So what is BC Backer anticipating? Because it seemed like, Johnny, you were squeaking at the camera here.
I can't see the number.
What he said verbally as well was $8 XRP, 530 billion in total market cap, guys. So I'd love to hear ones in the chat. If you believe we get an $8 XRP in the month of August, that's 170% gains from where we are today. Now, Johnny, we know in the month of November, we got 400% gains in only 25 calendar days. It wouldn't be something we've never seen before. But I want to give a huge shout out to the Shadow with the 1776, always 1776, liberty and freedom, my friends. Clear out those paper hands. Shout out to Paper Hands Portnoy. Now, Gavin can't pronounce the last name. Shout out to you. He said higher, ... And now we're going to provide some positive sentiment for you guys as well, because this was a clip that came out earlier today, and I think it really does just speak for itself. It gave me the vibes of a Saturday Night Live skit. That's exactly what I put out on Twitter when I watched this thing. This is Donald Trump meeting with Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. And what is more clear than ever? We are going to see the United States cut rates at some point. It is a sooner rather than later issue. Here it is.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2. This came from us.
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in the third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no,
including the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago. So
It's part of the overall work.
but it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening. and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you could see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So any questions?
There you have it, Johnny Krypto. Now, that got a lot of attention for a whole lot of reasons, but the tension, the discomfort in the body language of Jerome Powell, it's palpable, guys. And it's honestly, it makes me uncomfortable watching how uncomfortable Jerome Powell was standing next to sitting President Donald Trump. But Johnny Krypto, what's your initial reaction?
Right there, Matt D. This is my oh, you just found the third building we were trying to tell you about. He's like, oh yeah, that's the third building. Like, yeah, we know you're spending money. Like, dude, that thing's been under renovation for so long. Remember, you and I went out there and we were filming in Washington, and like they were like, yeah, that thing's been under there for like 5 years. We're like, what the hell's taking so long? Trump's like, I would fire the program manager, that's for sure. But regardless, you could cut the tension. You could feel the tension and cut that. And, he goes on in the rest of that clip and he talks about, hey, how about cutting rates? And he slaps him on the back. And, but you could see Powell, Powell ain't going to budge here. I think we're going to have to wait for, something else, to happen here. But there's certainly a lot of dislike between those two. You could certainly feel there's not a comfortness there. And the funny thing is, I think Powell's got about another 2 years left before he's finally out of there. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if I can't remember if Trump appointed him or if he was appointed by Biden. But anyway, nonetheless.
Wait, you say 2 years?
I think he's out in 2026. Yeah.
Yeah, that's only 8 months. We only got 8 more months of Jerome Powell. So that's going to come very quickly, guys. And this is one of the things that I think Donald Trump has been outspoken about. We just have to wait it out. He's pushing the discomfort. I do not think we're going to see Jerome Powell replaced in the next 8 months. What I do think will happen is a reduction in rates. And from that point forward, it will benefit the risk on assets that we talk about every day. Bitcoin, HBAR, XRP. When people have more money to spend, they put it into the projects that we're discussing. And I guess the most important part about this whole timeline here, Johnny, is that we're going to get like 3 different catalysts all at once. We're going to get the Clarity Act. We're going to get the Genius Act, which is already here. And we are going to get the passing of these ETFs. I want people to remember, because a lot of times we do these call outs when we make these predictions. This is a bold prediction here. I'm going to say it with confidence. XRP will break its all-time high in the calendar year of 2025. I can almost say that with certainty at this point, as long as there's no unforeseen massive macro circumstances like more war or, some great collapse that nobody can predict. It looks like many of these digital assets are following the price action of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is looking increasingly more bullish and ready for that next leg up to maybe $140,000 here in 2025. I do want to give a massive thank you and shout out to Xavier with the Let's Go celebration emojis and the Italian hand. Thank you for the $20, my friend.
Oh,
and a big shout out to you. What is that? About 7.5 XRP. Think about that, Johnny Krypto. Couple months ago, this would have been 40 units of XRP. Now this is only 7.5 XRP. And it is going to become increasingly more difficult by the day for regular people to get a meaningful bag. Now, I know I've showed this list many times, but our listeners know it only takes 2,500 XRP to be in the top 10% of all XRP token holders on planet Earth. A little bag can make a huge difference, especially over a long period of time. So I want people to have realistic expectations. One's in chat if you believe XRP breaks all-time high. Two's in chat if you think the top is in for the XRP price chart. But Johnny, I want to hear some of your thoughts. To me, this is totally normal price action, and it's one of the reasons our listeners need to know what they hold so they aren't overly emotional during times like this.
Yes, and speaking of emotion, Mike, I'm not going to call you out, but I'm going to use your comment because I like it. I love to see $8, but I'd say be a little disappointed. I don't know about you, Abs, but if I see $8, I'm going to be doing monkey flips in the backyard, or into the lake. I'm not going to be disappointed. Well, listen, here's the thing, guys. This is the problem with stock trading or any kind of investment. You put in your mind a target that you want or expect, and then when it doesn't get there, you then make the wrong decisions or you're not excited. I'm not going to take nothing for granted, Abs. We get an $8 XRP. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be excited and I'm going to be taking a little profit off the table. I'm not going to lie, but see, the thing is, I know, and you know that we're in this for the long run. We're here for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I'm holding on to some bags. I ain't letting them all go. Am I going to let some go? Absolutely. Am I going to try to leverage some when good lending platforms come out that I trust, that I believe will have the robustness and the security behind it, that I know they're not going to, like Celsius in 3 years, that they're going to steal my money and go away? Sure, I'll leverage some of that too. And then I'm also going to just have a set of bags that aren't going to get touched. Those are going to be called, you know what they're going to be called, Abs? My Amazon bags. Because of my Amazon mistake, I'm holding on to at least 25% for a long, long time, okay? Because I ain't making that mistake again. But, $8 XRP, guys, we were sitting at 50 cents just 9 months ago. If I had told you were going to get an $8 XRP, Abs, when we were sitting at 50 cents, would you not be ecstatic and jumping through the roof? Right? And now here we are at 350, and everyone's at $8. I don't want $8. That sucks. Like, that's like a 16x. That's massive. So, guys, be grateful if we get to $8. Totally going to be happy with it. I am going to be, joyful. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to take some profits, like I hope most of you do. I will not be putting it under my mattress, Chris P. Nice try. It's gonna be hard to put XRP under the mattress. Maybe a few dollars. I'm old school, but I don't do the mattress and the dollar thing. Okay. But what I am gonna do is I'm glad he actually said that. What I am gonna do is look for then where do I take some of my investment? And no, I'm not ripping this shirt. This is signed personally by Hulk Hogan. This shirt is gonna go back in the frame. I was looking for the red one, Abs. I couldn't find it anywhere. And Mikey's like, Dad, you should wear the one he signed. I'm like, you know what? For this one night, this is special, so I'm gonna wear it. I'm putting this back in the frame after. I'm not ripping it. But, the thing is, at the end of the day, to me, it's just when we start seeing $7, $8, $9, what is your plan? And I'm not talking about the exit plan now. I'm shifting gears on you. I'm talking about when you got a bucket of money in your hands now, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to go buy a Lambo? Are you going to go, buy a gold chain? Are you going to go spend it wildly and crazy? Or are you going to be smart and say, you know what? Let me take a chunk of this, because I'll tell you, this is what I'm doing. And how do I put it to work for me? How do I make it make more money? How do I put it into an investment vehicle like a real estate or a high yield dividend play or something like that to generate me even more income, right? So I hope people are thinking of the plan after the exit plan. There's like a plan after the exit plan. Because if you don't have that, guys, and you aren't thinking about that now, when the time comes, let me tell you, you and I have lived through a bull run, Abs. Everyone thinks they're exciting. They're not. They're nerve-wracking because you don't know where the top is, right? Like, you're excited. You're happy, excited, but you're like, do I sell here? Oh, I don't want to sell here. Okay. And then it goes down. You're like, oh, damn, I should have sold. And it goes back. Like, good thing I didn't sell. And then it pulls back down. Like, I should have sold. And like, it drives you mad if you don't have a plan. So, guys, I don't have the thing up here, but make sure you have a Merlin. Get the Merlin link below. Get a plan in place. We've given you the tools. And then after you sell, now you need to have a plan of how to put your money to work for you. Boy, I said a lot, so I'm kicking it back out.
Guys, we're going to break down some exciting information here because a lot of people have been asking me, did Chris Larson just sell the top for XRP once again? We're going to take you through some of that live data right now. We do have 6,200 live listeners here joining us. If you guys are enjoying this content, you enjoy this conversation, show us some love, smash that like button, as well as letting us know your thoughts in the chat. But Johnny, this is some very interesting data that just came out. And a massive thank you to Eric M. Smash the like button, $4.99 with the super sticker. Big shout out to you. Now, a lot of people have been concerned recently, Johnny, because Chris Larson sent $200 million worth of XRP to Coinbase and dumped over the past 10 days. This person said, you're still buying. You're the exit liquidity. He is dumping on you. Think twice. Now, why is this information even more relevant? Because when we look at the last time that Chris Larson made significant sell orders, it was back in 2018 at the previous all-time high. Now, what can you guys clearly tell about this data right here? He levels out. So he doesn't sell 100% of his XRP all at once. In both 2024, 2025, and all the way back in 2018, Chris Larson does several weekly sell orders to leverage himself slowly out of this market. And what we saw over the past couple of weeks here, Johnny, is that he's been ramping up those sell orders as the price continues to rise. So I'm going to give my take. I'm going to kick it over to you, therefore, after. What I think is really interesting, number one, is Chris Larson isn't catching the top. The data tells us that back in 2018, he did not make his largest sell orders until after the all-time high had already been placed, and he really was selling the majority of his XRP sub $1 during this time, Johnny. So We went all the way to $4. Chris Larson, according to this data, took his first profit just above $1.30. So pretty interesting to note that he didn't catch the top in 2018. I'm not sure he's catching the top here. I'd also like to point out he scaled out for over 6 months. So he was having sell orders weekly on exchanges all the way down to a price as low as about 25 cents on the XRP price chart. So he does not have a crystal ball. I just want to make that absolutely clear, or else he would have sold all of his XRP just a couple of weeks prior at $4. So that's kind of why I'm pointing to that. Now, what do we see happening right now? He made his first large sell order back in October of 2024. Now, many speculate, this is hilarious, by the way, guys, that this money was used to fund the Kamala Harris campaign. So think about that. Chris Larson took about $12 million worth of his XRP and just burned it, sent it into oblivion in the Kamala Harris campaign. Shout out to Kamala, guys. And I want to give a massive shout out to Dave Dog Zoe with the $20 donation. Massive thank you to you, my friend. Every single donation is appreciated. He said, thank you for your show. We're happy to do it. But what do we see in this Chris Larson selling here in 2025, Johnny? He's once again been scaling out. Ever since we saw the pump in November, Chris Larson has been coming in with some fairly large sell orders. And as you can tell, this $200 million dump over the past 10 days was the largest thus far. Now, logically, this is somebody who's been in the project since 2014. Sorry, 2011. Of course, he's going to take profit at a $3.60 XRP. He's got millions, if not billions of tokens that he got at a value of less than a penny. So it's a different game. And I talk about this constantly with the profit plan because people will criticize others for taking profit. Chris Larson is sitting on $15, $20 billion worth of XRP at this point. It is rational for him to take $200 million, which is less than 1% of that total value, and put it on the sidelines and sell it on the exchanges. Now, unfortunately for us, that selling pressure may have a huge impact here in 2025. And it could be one of the reasons that we're witnessing these pullbacks today, Johnny Krypto, but it's a short-term issue. And Chris Larson, if I was his financial advisor, which I'm not a financial advisor, so it's not financial advice, but Chris Larson, I would say, hey, buddy, might not be a bad idea to take these tokens that you bought at 0.01 and sell them for 360 right now. But I want to give a huge shout out to another daily listener, Alex Nari. He said, a massive thank you for the $20 donation. He said, I think we will have a blow off top and a correction in Q4 or Q1 of 2026, but I just can't see a two-ish year bear market like we had in 22 and 23. How long would the bear market last with having such a pro-crypto administration in office? Now, there's a lot of debate about that, Johnny. And I think both sides of the argument have a rational insight. But let's break that down in our next topic. We'll talk about that after the fact. You haven't gotten to address this yet. I think I made a very clear case that Chris Larson does not have a crystal ball. And this is somebody who's sitting on $25, $30 billion worth of XRP. It's always a great idea to take 1% and put it to the sidelines. This is less than 1% of that value. Floor is yours, my friend. And huge thank you to Mike Brown. Mike Brown with the $4.99. He said, love you guys. Thank you for everything you do. Massive shout out to you, my friend. You're here every single day. And Mike Brown's been with us for years. We also had 7 Dennis in the house, like always, with the $5 dono. Larson is only providing LIQ and stabilizing for institutional market / dark pools. He's helping keep the price from blowing up while BlackRock buys. Now, Dennis, here would be my response. Why didn't BlackRock just buy right here, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just buy right here?
Or down here, or down
Right.
there. Yeah.
They have to pull it back to what, $3, which is still higher than it's been over the past 10 years to start their initial buys. I think there's something bigger at play. And I think BlackRock, I don't think BlackRock's here for an ETF, guys. I think BlackRock is here to tokenize real world assets on the XRP ledger after the Clarity Act is passed in 2025. And we can break that down later. But Johnny, what's your reaction to this data? And do you think Chris Larson caught the top?
So first of all, this is great investigative work to you and to Jay Martin or whoever did the work here to call it out, because to me that's the kind of stuff where people sell the salt. Oh, he sold the top. Well, no, he didn't. It was at $4 and he sold at $1. And so if he really, thought he was selling top, listen, here's the thing. I'm never going to fault a guy, anybody who takes profit. And if you do, you don't understand how the world and how the game is played. First of all, this guy got these tokens basically for free, okay, because he's the chairman of the board this year. So he gets a certain amount automatically at 0, right? So why would you fault the guy who wants to sell less than 1% of his, maybe he wants to buy a yacht or an island, or he's got some expenses coming up. Is he dumping on us? I mean, come on. He's dumping. He's dumping on a market. Look at that thing. That thing is a flat, solid. And there it is, the chart. we've been going flat and sideways for about 6, 7, 8, 9 months. So no, he's not dumping on you. He's looking at it and saying, hey, right now he believes this is a good time to take some profits, hit his exit target, and he executed it. I can't fault the guy for that. I'd be a hypocrite if I did that. I'm the one telling you guys, make a plan and stick to it. Maybe he had a plan, Abs, to sell. Again, when you got a billion of these things and you got them for free and you're at $3, he's at $200 million. Can I fault the guy for doing that? No, absolutely not. I mean, you could have argued back then, rewind 6 years ago when he sold at $1. And people were like, oh my God, he's selling at $1. That's the top. Well, guess what? All those coins he sold at $1, he can no longer sell them right now at $3. He was wrong. And if he was wrong once, selling it at $1, don't you think he could possibly be wrong again, selling now at $3 because they could go up to 6 and 9? But remember, he's got a billion of these freaking things. He doesn't care because he's doing what we're talking about. He's laddering out. He's selling. Think about it. He got him at, let's say, 0. Sold his first batch at $1. Just sold his second target at $3. You know what? If I draw 2 lines on a chart and I connect them, it's going to look like that. He's selling in a trend on the way up. No fault at all. Don't think he's dumping on us. He's just got an opportune time. I think he knows, and we all know, that there is still massive, massive upside to come. I think anybody reading into it and saying he's selling us is just trying to create one or two things, either FUD or just a storyline. And that's all this is. It's just social media storylines at the end of the day. I ain't worried about this. CEOs and chairmen sell their stocks all the time at different levels. Does that mean the top is in? Hell no. I don't think so. Not at all. Not even. I don't
John,
even.
I want to make this comment though. I want to look at the marketing of it too. Think about this. What did you see on the headlines? $200 million dump, right? That's a huge number. But how did I phrase it? 1% of his portfolio.
Exactly.
It's really about the perception of these.
Exactly. I just told you, it's the narrative or the holy cow, El Jefe, you're the best, the beast.
I want to give a big shout out to the boss man of the Good Evening Crypto community, El Jefe, in the house with the $49.99. And he said, Brad Garlinghouse is the reason that Ripple made it through the SEC BS. Nothing to do with Chris Larson. Now, hey, how would Kamala Harris have hired, what was that dancer's name? Megan Thee Stallion without Chris Larson's money, guys. Come on. Chris Larson, he had a contribution there. And I'm just kidding. Of course, El Jefe, big shout out to you. I've also got some stuff prepared at the end of the stream, Johnny, in regards to the lawsuit, because believe it or not, the SEC has not made an official announcement about whether this case is over. But we got 7,800 live listeners here, guys. If you enjoy this content, show us some love, smash that like button, and be sure to subscribe to the brand new Good Evening Crypto channel. Now, people are saying there were some issues with the notifications. There were some issues with the live donations today. We did have an issue earlier in the week. We have gotten those resolved. So post notifications should be back to normal. Live donations should also be back to normal, just to give you a quick heads up. But Johnny Krypto, what would you say to El Jefe, Brad Garlinghouse, the reason that we made it through the SEC, not Chris Larson?
He's 100% right. No doubt about it. I didn't see Chris Larson having dinner with Trump. You know who I saw? I saw Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart I screwed up his name, Alderati having dinner with him. There's your connections right there, guys. That is, you're no doubt about it. I could not agree more with that statement that Brad is driving this train, not Chris Larson. Chris, I guess the only kudos I give them is that I think he probably hired Brad, but Brad is the guy that's the engine behind all of this that's making it happen there. Absolutely. I love our chat, and I love answering questions for our chat. So we're here to help them. And this is a great question, so I want to help answer this. Rob B says, hey, so I'm confused. Help me out, guys. If it's too risky to leave my assets on an exchange, then how do I set up exit buy orders safely if I'm holding my holdings in a cold wallet? That's a great question, because if you're in a cold wallet, well, then, yeah, you're not going to be able to set up alerts to be able to sell, like you can on exchange. So one of the things I tell people, and again, not financial advisor, but one of the things you can do is just think about the amount. What I do is I tell people, when you create an exit, this is what's the great thing about Merlin apps. You create an exit plan in Merlin, it shows you how many coins you have to sell. And what I tell the people is just take that number of coins, what your exit plan is, and maybe you can pull up a screenshot of it. But Merlin will show you where the exit what your total coins are going to sell. And you can just put those coins on the exchange and then leave the rest in the cold wallet. So this way now you can go and set your alerts up. And that's what I do. Now people say, oh, never trust exchanges. It's not.
One thing I would say, Johnny, is I actually would speak against that word of advice. Now, why would I speak against it from a rational standpoint? I think a lot of people who are planning on taking profit here, that would be a whole lot of crypto on exchanges. I'm not doing that. So I have a standard here where I say never keep more than 10% of your crypto on an exchange. If you have to extend that, you can go to 20% of your portfolio. That's going to prevent a lot of our listeners from being exposed to some of the risk of keeping an asset on an exchange. And if somebody who works with you has a 70% exit plan, that means you're telling them put 70% of your crypto portfolio onto an exchange. I would personally advise, and I'm not a financial advisor, I can only tell you what I do. I personally wouldn't do that with my own money, right? That's just the reason I wanted to throw that in there, to be 100% transparent with everybody. So my thoughts are different than Johnny's. Johnny's thoughts are different than mine. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. But the truth of the matter is people need to be aware that these profits are coming and these exchanges will go down. Every single bull market, these exchanges go down at peak volatility, and that's what we're witnessing happen once again here in 2025. I can almost make it certain, Johnny, when we see this market take another leg up, if XRP is trading at $5, $6, $8, $10, that is where we are going to see this thing change in a way we've never seen before. Now, I am getting distracted by the chat. It appears some people are having technical issues. It's the second time we've had issues this week, so I'm trying to fix it, guys. But why do I have to keep exiting YouTube just to reopen the live? I don't know. So we're dealing with some tech issues, guys. I will work on that. But Johnny, while I try to get that situated, floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. So, again, and you're absolutely right. I'm not also condoning to put 70, 80% out there. I will tell you this, though. I had, you always hear people say, oh, exchanges are dangerous. They're bad, blah, blah, blah. So I had taken my stuff off the exchanges after that scumbag Gensler had shut down Nexo and all the staking and earning on Kraken, and therefore, right? And I had moved it into a hot wallet, a cold wallet, basically a hot wallet, right? So I moved it into the Atomic wallet. And what you might have figured out, or what you heard later, was, I got hacked and I lost half of my crypto. Had I actually left it on Kraken, the other half that's still there, guess what? It's still there and it's still safe, right? So the point being is there's risk everywhere. All right. So now the best and safest place is what Ab said. Put it on a cold wallet, and the reality is you're not going to be able to set up alerts. What you got to do, though, where you get an advantage, again, if you have Merlin, at least you're going to get an alert telling you your targets are hit, and then you can go to your cold wallet, move your stuff over to your exchange, and go make the sell. So that's going to be your other option, or you can do something like a Caleb and Brown, where they supposedly don't, when they go down, your order executions still go through, and they're supposed to be safer. So there's some options, but what's going to really happen, Abs, in my opinion, is as the industry matures, we're in the infancy right now of crypto, guys. As we continue to mature, you will see that there will be safer alternatives, and that's what we're going to be waiting for. So, and Kraken actually, they may advertise they didn't go down, but I'm going to tell you right now, oops, wrong one. Yes, they did go down because I have Kraken, and I remember a couple times trying to get into and the site was down, and I couldn't get in when things were pumping. So now from what I know, they've never been hacked. Maybe that's what they said. But in terms of going down, I experienced it personally myself, so I can speak to that one experience of mine.
I want to give a big shout out to Seven Dennis. Once again, he said, Jake said Ripple is out of XRP, so Larson DCAing is stabilizing the market for exchanges. It's a team effort. Chris, Brad, David, and Brito, we are close. So let me think about this. Sorry, Johnny. It's just Ripple is out of XRP, so Larson DCAing is stabilizing the market for exchanges. Are you saying that Ripple is selling of the entire escrow that's being deposited every month and then still needing additional demand? Seven Dennis, please clarify that for me, because I'm very interested to know what you're kind of indicating there. And a huge thank you for the $5 donation, my friend. Motorbike Mike with the $4.99 says, we need a GEC event so I can get an autographed shirt with Johnny Gonzo and Abs, Wildwood, New Jersey, right here. We will be planning a meet and greet for the Good Evening Crypto community in 2026, guys. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We are going to make that happen for the 2026 calendar year. Now, this person says, is this a special live? What's going on? This is Good Evening Crypto. Welcome in. We do them occasionally, Johnny. You're going to get a daily video every day, but we go live at least 2 or 3 times a week at this point. And when XRP is above $3, we're just looking for an excuse to come on here and spend time with you guys. So huge shout out to Motorbike Mike for the $4.99. Big thank you to you as well. Supply shock inbound. Now, I think we already seeing that supply shock. But Johnny, I just got a huge reminder. When hat giveaway, we need to raffle off the David Schwartz hat. So we're going to have to figure that out when we're going to do that, a timely manner. I thought we were going to do it this week, but it's already Thursday. Maybe we'll try to get it done over the weekend or maybe early next week before we head off to the lake, but we'll have to figure that out at a different time because right now we're going to go over some content that our listeners should all be aware of. But Johnny, wait, do you have a comment there? Sorry.
I was just going to say, here's the guys, life gets in the way sometimes. We didn't get it out yet, but I will tell you this. Somebody will be getting that hat. It will be happening soon. It will be going out. So, if not this week, we'll be at the lake house next week. Might be the week after, but here's my promise to you. It will happen. We will get the link up there so you can start registering sometime, over this weekend. And we'll put a note out when that happens on my Twitter, and you'll just go ahead and sign up for it. And that'll give you guys a little extra time so more people can do it. And of course, remember, if you then make a donation, you can get a second entry into it when we're actually offering it during that live show. So we're not there yet. We don't know when it is, but we promise you in the next few weeks, it will happen.
And something else that's happening in the next few weeks.
I just saw a raffle off the Hulk shirt. That is not happening. This is one of a kind, and it's priceless. Unfortunately, with the Hulkster, resting in peace. So yeah, this is going to stay with me for a while, Abs.
Something else that's happening this week, guys. Bank of America is introducing stablecoins, and Paul Barron took the time and effort to put together this short thread on the connections between the RLUSD stablecoin and Bank of America. I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you. We passed 350 likes on today's live stream. Just want to give a massive shout out to anybody who enjoys this content. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and join us every single day on the Good Evening Crypto channel. But Johnny, Bank of America has documented history with Ripple dating all the way back to 2019 and patents mentioning Ripple's technology of distributed ledger technology for interbank settlement. Now, could RLUSD be the stablecoin by Ripple that banks choose? Here's why Paul Barron believes that may be the case. RLUSD launched under the NYDFS charter, a premier regulatory standard worldwide. BNY Mellon custody partnership with institutional grade infrastructure. They've already integrated into Ripple payments, multi-chain deployment, and the game changer. If major US banks align on shared stablecoin infrastructure, RLUSD's proven tech and regulatory compliance make it a prime candidate for real world utility by some of the largest banks on the planet. And I want to give a huge shout out to Seven Dennis. Ripple bought back XRP off exchanges to fill an order. True. Very interesting, Seven Dennis. And thank you for the research, my friend. Shout out to you. Great member of the community. These are the types of information that talk about what we experienced, Johnny. For the price to go up, there has to be a supply shock. That's what a price increasing is, right? So I'll let you break that down. But big thank you to Mary Cox as well. Thank you so much, Abs and Johnny. Love you guys. Well, we love you too, Mary Cox. Thank you so much for the $10 donation. We appreciate anybody who shows up and spends time with us. Right, Johnny Krypto? Dark Rider VR with the $4.99. Huge thank you, my friend. He said, shout out to you guys, especially my paisano, Johnny. Chasey Dice. I don't know.
No. Let me read the Italian part, okay? What he's saying is "Che si dice," which means what do you say? How you doing?
Che si dice.
I'm going to turn out into an Italian soon. How about that?
I wouldn't go that far, guys. Now, somebody said, big thank you to Gary with the $20 donation. Gary T, thank you so much. He said, patience. My wife and I have been here for a long time. So what's a few more weeks? Let's go. Take some, leave a lot. Appreciate y'all. Well, we appreciate you as well. And Gary, if you've been here a while, congratulations on your success. I'm sure you've experienced a lot of that, guys. You guys have no idea how much you've helped us. Thank you so much. AGL, $2 donation. Thank you for the positive energy, my friend. We really appreciate those kind comments. I think the best part about making these videos is getting the feedback that we've gotten over these past 6 months. We grinded, Johnny, as they say, we were grinding in the trenches, right? Working out, making content, doing that for 2022, 2023, 2024. And then finally, at the end of the year, when we had built our triceps, built our six packs, the crypto market exploded and we became this new exciting community who had a whole lot of money. And I just want to make that very clear. We're going to continue with this success, guys. The quote for today, the quote for 2025 in our community has been what? You may even get tired of winning. That's what we say time and time again, and I really believe that to be the case. So many people have followed the advice of us, Mickle, Zach Rector, Coach JV, whoever you follow, bought these assets and not been scared out, and you deserve credit for sitting in this project for the years that we had to wait. Now, I want to give another thank you, Stone and Land with the 1999. I'm happy trading now while prices are low, and I like this volatility. Sell on a rip and add tokens on the dip, but if it goes above $4, I'm going to be a lot more conservative. So shout out to Stone and Land. I think a daily listener. We always see you in here, so I'm just going to call you a daily listener, and we appreciate your donation, my friend. But he said when it goes above $4, he's going to be more conservative. It's funny, Johnny, because this market, the sentiment changes. $1,000 XRP last week. Now we're never going above $3 this week. Next week, we're going to be breaking all-time highs. We're going to $25. We'll get a short-term pullback, 50 cents, and people will say it's over. That's how this market works. And that's why it's so important to take advantage of the product that we created in Merlin and set your exit targets today so you are not overwhelmed when we go through this next bull market. But Johnny, did you have a comment? Floor is yours.
Yeah, I love this comment because the thing I like about this, really, really cool, is when you say here, I'm trading, volatility and playing the rips and dips below 3, but above 4, I'm going to be conservative. The reason why I love this comment is this is very, very smart in my opinion. Again, I'm not financial, but the reason why I like this is, until you bust above the all-time high abs, you kind of know we're going to play between the all-time high and low, in some kind of a low. And you're going to know there's going to be this kind of play. But once you break above 4, we're in what's called price discovery and uncharted territory. Now, you don't know how much higher we're going up. You don't know how much. It's like you're flying blind at that point. There will be you could, how you love to draw, take your pencil and draw lines on it. You could take the pencil and throw that son of a bitch out because there ain't no lines that you could draw and say, oh, look at the past resistance and support. No, there ain't any. And so it is a great time once you start breaking into all-time high to become a little more conservative. So I love what Stone and Stone and Land. Is that Stone and Land? I love what you're saying there. I love your approach. I love how you're playing the game because I truly believe that if you're going to do it, then that's the way you do it, right? For those folks, as Ab said, who want to try Merlin, there's a link below. Click on it, and you'll get your 30-day trial, so you can create your exit plan as well. Oh, look, Ab, we got another shout out.
Guys, somebody asked earlier this week, are we going to create a members portion of our channel? It's totally optional. We already discussed it. I'm going to be creating a members portion of the channel. We can get an exclusive icon in the chat. We're going to have videos that we do just for you guys. So we talked a little bit about this. But one of the things is, guys, we want to make all of our content free. We don't want to put anything valuable behind a paywall. So if you decide to be a member, just know we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. But there's not going to be that much exclusive content that we produce for those members because we want to give our content out for free to everybody. So I just want to make that clear. It is more about supporting the channel and helping us grow than it's going to be about getting exclusive content. But we appreciate the live donations, the subscriptions, the comments, anybody who hits the like button. We're thankful and appreciative for every single person here. Johnny, I'm going to let you comment. We'll go through.
Yeah, I just want to build on that. It's so true, right? We don't want to be one of those kind of, teams that, you got to pay for everything to get access to it. Like Ab said, we want to give it away for free. But I will say this. One of the things that helps us having to not do that is these donations that you guys give as well. So these are huge. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for them because they do help. Abs and I are trying to figure out how do we do more. We'd love to do more of this and make more content and to do more lives, right? And to do that, we've got to free ourselves from our daily jobs. So these kind of things help. And so we appreciate, everything you're doing there to help Abs grow this channel. So thank you so much for that.
And a big shout out to Jason, who says, just a shout out to all the super chats who help build this channel. The Warriors are lit. You are lit as well, Jason. Thank you so much for making time for us tonight. And hopefully you're enjoying the show, guys. Christopher commented, love this show. And a big thank you for the $4.99, my friend. Love the show and all the positivity. But at some point, you can't put a positive spin on everything. They are dumping, but it's okay. I'm holding long term. Now, Chris, you must be a newer investor because just a couple of weeks ago, let me remind you guys, I'll tell you the exact data for how new people have to be. So, Johnny, we are looking at the daily chart. I would say 17, 18. We're talking 19 days ago. XRP was $2.20. We are still trading $3.12 right now. That means we're like 40% above that previous price target, Johnny.
Right.
And so Chris, I am a positive guy, and I do put a positive spin on a lot of things. And like I always say, I'm open to the criticism, but I don't think I'm being unrealistically positive here. I think I'm pointing out data on the price chart and showing our listeners 16% pullback after 600% gains. This is totally rational, and this is just how these markets move. That's it.
And Abs, let me build on that. So this kind of, when I read this kind of comment, immediately through my mind goes, okay, this is short-term thinking, right? You're short-term thinking. Now, I get that he says I'm holding long-term, which is great. But short-term thinking makes you feel like, oh, they're dumping. Of course they're dumping. Absolutely. We're at all-time highs, near all-time high. There's going to be some dumping. That's to be expected. You shouldn't look at it and go, oh, my God, it's dumping. That's negative. No, I just told you this is positive. We want those weak hands out. We want them to dump, and we want to see this thing be able to hold support. And if it can, then we're just going for the next leg up. And the reality, Chris, is this. The big money isn't here yet, my friend. It can't even come in yet because we don't have that one key thing that we've been saying is crucial for all the institutional and iPhone to happen like it did in 96 and 97. We don't have the infrastructure bill yet. Institutions have literally said, and you've heard many, many experts, not me, but financial experts going Fox News, CNN, all the other saying institutions are telling them they want to put 1, 2, 3 points of their money, that's 3 percentage points of trillions of dollars, which will result in about billions of dollars into this space. And they can't until they get the infrastructure bill because they're scared of the SEC. So my friend, when you say they're dumping, trust me, they haven't dumped yet. The big money's not even here yet. You will see dumps, but we're not there yet. I ain't worried about these little mini profit-taking things here. These aren't dumps. These are natural occurrences that are going to happen as we continue to expand. And personally, I think we will see something different than everybody else expects. I don't think we're going to see this, typical 4-year bull run and then the bear market 4 year. I think the game has changed. And I've been very adamant about saying it's going to look more like 96, 97, 98. I think we get a 2-year-ish, maybe bull run-ish kind of time period. Don't get me wrong. Within that, we're going to go up and down. But it's going to be more like this than the normal 4-year convention. That's just my 8 cents. I could be wrong, but I would be looking at 96, 97, 98 if I were anybody getting into space to try to understand how this game may play out.
Johnny, somebody said this the other day. They go, guys, if I don't get this bull market right, I'm just going to wait 4 more years. The truth is, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it sounds a little bit cliche, but I'm telling you, I was here in 2021. All of the things that we were speculating on are now happening in real time.
Yep.
Ripple didn't have a stable coin. We didn't have the RLUSD token. We had the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit in full effect. We had Joe Biden as president, Gary Gensler telling us, I don't even know if these exchanges should exist in the U.S. There was a real narrative that they were going to ban all crypto exchanges. So we have come a very long way, but we got some other live donations. I just want to give a massive thank you to Christopher for sending that live donation and contributing to the show. Thank you to you, my friend. And hopefully our message was positive like it always is, but hopefully we gave you some legitimate data on why we have the opinion that we have. This journey is just getting started. The big money has not arrived. But here's what Robbie had to say. Shout out to you, Robbie, here every single day with the $9.99. Big thank you to you, my friend. Headed to Florida for vacation this weekend. Shout out to all the Floridians living the dream. I'll finally have time to get Merlin and sign up for the 3T Academy. Have you people subscribed? Subscribe today, guys. Click on the link down below to start using Merlin. 30 days completely free. Now, Storm Surge with the $19.99 said, here's a dono just for not trying to set up a paywall. Y'all are great. Well, thank you, guys. We're not going to do that to you all. And one of the things that we've been very transparent about, you'll never see us pump products we don't use. We only talk about Merlin because we built it and we created this. We talk about GEC because this is our channel. So big thank you to anybody. We're one of those, we're not journalists. Like, I don't know what we are. We're just guys with a talk show. We're guys who turn our cameras on and spend time with you all. And we've been doing this a really long time. So thank you so much for your financial support. It is greatly appreciated, my friends. Make no mistake about it. Sean with the $49.99. Huge thank you to you, Sean, and a great profile picture. Shout out to you and your wife as well. You guys rock. This chat rocks. Just enjoying being here. That's what it's all about. Sharing the love, having some fun. It's 10:30 on a Thursday night. We're sitting here richer than we've ever been in the XRP community, just from a price chart standpoint, Johnny. And it's exciting. Why not be here and share the positive energy? We've earned this, guys. We've been waiting a very long time. I want to give another special shout out to Alex Nari, and big thank you, Sean, for your $49.99. It is
Thank you.
greatly appreciated, my friend. Huge, huge thank you. Alex Nari, shout out to you, daily listener, $10 here. Big thank you. For all the new people, you can explain the difference between XRP, Ripple Labs, and the XRP Ledger. People new to this market still have a hard time understanding that they are all different. Ripple Labs is the company responsible for driving real-world companies onto XRP products. That's how I would describe them. The XRP Ledger is what facilitates these blockchain transactions, and XRP token is used on the ledger to send that value. So very simple. I would think about it like Ripple's the company, XRP Ledger is the tracks, XRP is the train on top of the tracks. That's kind of what I would describe it as, if I could keep it as simple as possible for our community, Johnny. Now, again, huge thank you to Eric M. He says, smash that like button with the $9.99. Nope. Please keep being positive, brother. That's what's up. Thank you to Eric M. Big, another positive individual who's always in our chat. So big shout out to you, my friend. Dennis says Ripple sells how they fund their operations, but it's managed. Of course they sell, guys. It's public data. And we've been appreciative of this. They are driving real world companies onto the XRP Ledger. Johnny, one quick thing, and then I've done a lot of talking, so I'll go back to you here, is that people act like they're dumping on the open market, like Ripple's going to Coinbase and selling to Johnny Krypto. They are doing over-the-counter transactions with the largest financial companies on the planet. That means that they're giving these companies a financial incentive for the XRP price to increase. If Johnny came to me with, let's just use XRP because it's simple. If Johnny came to me with the XRP token, is like, Abs, it's trading for 313. I'm going to give you 100 million of these at 220. Add it to your balance sheet. Do what you'd like to do. Earn a yield. Leverage it. Trade it. Tokenize assets on it. The floor is yours. Now I own these tokens. I want them to increase in price as well. Very simple. So Ripple is doing us a favor when it comes to the largest companies on the planet. Snapdragon with the $5 said, can you talk about Water's $15 prediction by today's date? Now, somebody called me a politician earlier, guys. I'm definitely not a politician, right? But I do love to be respectful. And what I would say is it's always difficult, near impossible, to make these price predictions in such a short time frame. The one thing I would not like about these price predictions, I think it sets unrealistic expectations. And I've interviewed Waters. I have a lot of respect for Waters, not only his community, but the content he put out, the vibe he has. I think Waters is a great content creator. But I do think that when people get their expectations set on an $18 XRP by the end of the month, it makes things almost irrational. I think what we've done here for a very long time is give you guys realistic expectations. $6 to $8 in 2025. I think that's written in the cards for XRP. Johnny, do you have any quick comments on this one?
I never like these kind of predictions. When they say, oh, it's going to be this price by this date. You know what? I've never seen a single one happen. And so I never hold any water. I love Waters above. We've had him on the show many times. And, it's, if he had something in there that made him, we don't know I haven't watched the video when he made this prediction. So I'd like to see the context. Maybe he just said, hey, if this and this happens, then this could, I don't know. Point is, I never put any water into any of these, no doubt. And even like Jake's, Jake's, which is promoting 1 or 2,000. Again, I'm not putting no, if it happens, great. If all the dominoes fall into place, it can. But for anybody to listen to those, if you're hearing folks talk about those guys, please, if anybody tells you that a certain thing is going to a certain price, there's a 99% chance it's not going to happen. They're not right? None of us know where any of this stuff is going, okay? And I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell you we know. What we know there are certain tools, like the Fibonacci tool, that is a relatively decently prediction tool that has some degree of accuracy, where if you leverage it and you learn how to use it, and we teach you how to do that in Merlin, I'm just click on the link below. You can get access to that tool. It's been about a relatively accurate sum of the Fibonacci levels. So why not take advantage of a tool that works and do your own research and build your own plan? Click on the Get Started up at the top if you're a member here, and you'll see the video on how to do it. Create your own, and the how-to video, and there, boom, there. I don't know, I got that tanked up, but there you go. You watch that video, and that's going to show you how to create an exit plan and where the price may go. And then when you start looking at that, Abs, and then you start comparing it to what people are saying, you really could start to like, whoa, that's way above what the prediction tools, which are what a lot of the elites use, are showing me. And then you start to realize, like, okay, yeah, it's probably not real. I don't put a lot of weight in any of these apps. To me, just you let the price do what the price is going to do. And then if you've built your exit plan tool, in that video, you're going to sell along the way when those targets are hit. And if they don't hit abs, it's okay. You know what? I do what Ripple does. Ripple has an escrow. They try to sell so much every month. If they don't sell it, they take it back. Hey, I'm doing the same thing. I have exit targets. If I hit those targets, I sell. If I don't, I hold on to my XRP until the next time, because I know it someday it's going to go there. But when? I have no idea. Is it going to happen very soon? Personally, you know how I feel about this, and nobody agrees with me, but that's okay. But I'm the technology guy, and I know technology takes a time to build. But I know there is going to be a speculation period that I think is coming very soon. In the next, I'll say by the end of the year, where I think big money is going to flood into this space, and those are going to be great opportunities to take profits.
Johnny, the truth of the matter is, too, there's more certainty about where this asset class is going than there's ever been before. I mean, when we were here in 2021, if you missed the top, it was almost a certainty that we were going into a bear market and we were going to have to wait years. That's exactly what played out. But the people who were born in the dark, as I like to say, the people who entered this market when prices were low, those are the people who have made the most money today. And if you're an XRP investor who gets in at $3 and says, I want to see if I can get an entry at 240, that means the price has to pull back to 240. Just, I don't understand it. People are like, they'll call for these lower prices, and the lower prices come and they go, nah, it's different. I'm not going to buy it. It happens every single time. But I do want to give a big shout out to the Dark Rider VR with the $9.99. He said, guys, I have a question that scares me. When I want to sell, I have to transfer my coins to an exchange. And if the exchange freezes, I won't be able to transfer my coins. How do I address this matter? Well, I think what he's talking about is so what happens when exchanges freeze is that they go down for a certain period of time. It means you're unable to access your exchange. I'd go into my Coinbase app and they'd say, maintenance is taking place. You can't get in. You can't make trades right now. It doesn't mean that they took away access to your tokens. The second that this app is back up and running, you'll have direct access to transfer your tokens off an exchange. But here's the solution. You get 10% of your portfolio on an exchange with limit orders. And most likely when these exchanges go down, if your limit orders are in place, you will have transactions that go through. So that would be my solution. Johnny, any comments on this one?
I would just say, in addition to that, yes, that's the best way to do it. Is you don't want to be trying to move stuff on and off a cold wallet to an exchange to sell it in the heat of the battle when things are pumping in euphoria. You're not going to have any success unless if these exchanges have fixed the issues they've had in the past. Their servers go down because there's too much hitting them. And so the best way to handle that is what Abs just said. Move a certain small percentage on there, put your limit order already in, and set it and forget it. The other option you have are there are certain exchanges like Caleb and Brown where they guarantee your coins and they guarantee that the trade will always go through. So you can move, so if you're going to pick an exchange to put it on, Caleb and Brown may be one that you consider, because I'm not saying that they won't go down. They are claiming they don't. I have yet to see them because I don't use them. But supposedly that is their claim to fame, is that they don't go down when the other ones do. So that's an option for you. The best bet may be to break it up into two. Like Ab said, maybe 10%, 5% on one exchange, 5% in another. And you kind of, split it up that way so you have a potential chance of both sales going off and at the same time. Now, why you could swap it to cold wallet. It's much more costly. Certainly an option, but you need to be awake during the time. I think what the other man was trying to do is set a limit order. So if it happens in the middle of the night when he's sleeping, it can happen. Whereas in a cold wallet, I'm not so sure you can, at least the cold wallets I've used, or warm wallet, you can't set limits. You just have to swap instantly. So that's not an option if you want to set a limit.
Absolutely, guys. And I want to give a massive thank you to our daily listener, KG. KG with the 20 bomb. Huge shout out to you, my friend. Always here commenting. Huge part of this community. This is for all my GEC brothers. You know who you are. Shout out to Black Squirrel, one of the GEC brothers. Now, guys, if you haven't already, head on over to our brand new Good Evening Crypto channel and subscribe, as we're going to give you content every single day, whether it's a 5:30 p.m. Eastern update, a weekend early morning stream, or a late night stream like this. Head on over to the Good Evening Crypto channel so you can get your daily fix of GEC, Johnny Krypto. That's my new plug. Floor yours.
And in addition to that, hold on, let me grab it. Like I said, we've got this beautiful. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, that's too bad. Oh well. Anyway, maybe you can kind of see it. Hey, there it is. You can partly see it. This is a signed by all these influencer poster that we got at XRP Vegas. And when we break 20,000, when we get abs 20,000 subscribers on the GEC channel, this is mine. This is my personal one. I am going to give it away to you guys so you can have it. But again, you got to help abs get to 20,000 listeners. And I really wanted abs. I want to set like a high milestone. Like I want it to happen by the end of this month. That's a very, very high. But I'm going to challenge this audience because I love this community and I know how strong they are. I'm going to challenge you guys. Abs is at 13.6. That means he only needs about another 6,500 subscribers in the next, what do we got? 7, 8, 9 days. I think it's possible. So, guys, if you help and we get to 20,000 by the end of July, we will raffle off this poster. God, I wish you guys could see it, but you can't. But anyway, that's a special one-off poster, and we will get that up there, and we'll do a raffle for that as well. And then, of course, there will also be abs. Once your hat is done, we do have one more beautiful Merlin hat signed by you, me, and Coach JV. And I think this will be saved for like a special mark, like maybe a 25,000 or a 50,000, because it's the only one we have left. So we got them out there, guys. You gotta help abs grow this channel.
Absolutely, guys. And I'm just appreciative we're at 13.6. I want to say thank you to every single person who watches and enjoys this program. We are an hour into tonight's show. We got 11,700 live listeners here. Just a final reminder, if you enjoy this content, head on over to the Good Evening Crypto channel on YouTube and subscribe for your daily update every single day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, or you're going to get a late night stream just like this. But Johnny, we've talked about a lot tonight. I think there's just a couple of more topics that we should address before the end of the episode. I think we put a lot of people's fears to rest, right? Newer investors, rightfully so, they get into this market. It goes up 50%. It goes down 25%. It can be overwhelming the amount of volatility that a regular everyday person is expected to just kind of deal with here. But when we talk about the reality of this market expanding after regulation, I think you can speak very well to that. For the last 16, 15 years, this market has strictly been driven on 4-year cycles.
Yep.
We saw it in 2013 and 2014, 2017, 2018, 2020 and 2021. And here we are in 24/2025, going through that exact same process once again. Now, if we saw something different, it would be the first time in history that this market ever didn't have a bear market. But the logical case for us not having a bear market going forward is that these spigots of liquidity will be turned on. And then it's like we always say, a high tide will raise all boats.
Yep.
When Solana, Cardano, Dogecoin, and XRP, as well as 12 other altcoins, have real ETFs available on the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, that inflow of liquidity is going to start and never stop.
Yep.
And whether it's $8 billion in 2026 or $20 billion or $50 billion, what we know for sure is there is a multiplier effect in the works for XRP, which could mean that if just $1 billion comes into a project like XRP, it could push the market cap north of $100 billion in total value. And that's according to what we saw back in November. Now, Robbie with the $4.99, big thank you to you, my friend. How the crap are this many people watching and not liking and subscribing? Now, guys, we didn't ask the question. That's what Robbie had to say. So if you're enjoying this content, we're at 479 likes. Can we pass 500 likes on the episode? It'd be greatly appreciated, guys. But Johnny, I think my point is very clear. The stablecoins are here. The clarity is in the works. The ETFs have been filed. We're really just waiting for all these approvals to take place. And from that point forward, when these projects are breaking all-time high and we're watching the daily volume and we're talking about the new liquidity, we will not be able to tell people we're early anymore. And I've said it time and time again, and that day may come sooner than people anticipate. What are some of your thoughts?
Well, I think you kind of nailed it on the head is what people don't understand about this, or at least let me rephrase. What I think is going to be different this time versus last time is everybody continues to think, forget about it. I love it. Everybody continues to think that this is a 4-year cycle, because they've been brainwashed. I personally think, Abs, this market is transforming into a typical, more like a stock market, the 12-sectored economy, as Kevin O'Leary likes to say it. You have to understand something, Abs. For the past 15 years, okay, big institutions have not been investing in crypto or blockchain technologies. But starting after the Clarity Act, this is going to change how institutions and the rest of the world looks at this space. This space has been looked at as a scam. It's been looked at, you've heard the words that the politicians have used for this space. Well, that's about to change. And when this now becomes adopted as a 12th sector economy, and next year E-Trade starts allowing you to trade, and Charles Schwab starts allowing people to buy crypto like it's stocks, it's a whole nother, it's a different world. I honestly believe the 4-year cycles are gone. I don't think we're going to see one again. Maybe we'll see the remnants of a little bit because of the Bitcoin. It is a unique thing where every 4 years, it does that, halves. But the reality is, I think this is going to be shifting into more of a real market. Okay. And that's why I tell everybody, I encourage you all, go look back at the history curves of the market in 96, 97, 98, because I think that's what's happening. And then that market then transforms, and you can see how it goes, into then the utility phase. But that kind of goes sideways for a while. So, and this is exactly, Mike, this is a great point. I'm so glad you put that up, Abs. This is, everybody's fearful of selling too early. My friend, here's the good news, Motorbike Mike. If you only sell a portion, 1%, 2%, 3%, it does two things. One, it makes you feel good to know you took some profits. You get that euphoric, you get that dopamine effect in your brain. I made some profits. You're happy. Okay. Number two, you haven't sold it all. So if it keeps going up, you got more. If you have this fear, the always fear of selling early, well, guess what, Abs? You're never going to sell. And then guess what you're going to do? You're going to join the rubbernecker club. You're going to watch it go all the way up and all the way down. Can't do that. You got to have the mindset of, I'm going to pull some profits on the way up, but I'm not going to pull it all. I'm not going to be Johnny Krypto 1997 Amazon selling it all. I did that. I sold it all and I sold too early. But Abs, there would have been nothing wrong if I had only sold, let's say, 100 shares of my 1,000 and I kept the other 900. Do you think I would have given a shit that I sold the first 100 a little too early when I held the other 900 up to 3,300 or whatever number I could have held it to? You know what I'm saying? The reality is, the good news here is, don't be afraid to sell a little bit. Abs and I talking about sell 1% or 2%. Take a little profit, get some of your money back, but leave a big bag for the long term if you're worried about selling too early. And then the good news is you'll get the best of both worlds. You'll get to take some profits now, especially when we get to speculative run, because I'm telling you, look at the speculation when it goes up, and then it does come crashing down, and then it kind of takes a while before we go back up again. But I love that other comment you just put up there too about GMC and G. Guys, thank you for sharing these comments with us to know that we're helping change your lives. Because to be honest with you, this is why Abs and I, when we talk like on the phone, we're like, it's great that we're putting good karma out and we're helping people. And this is what we want to see. Because if we're not helping you, we ain't going to do it no more. There's no point in doing it if we ain't helping you. And I love the fact that you keep telling us we're helping you. Because the day we ain't helping you is the day we won't do this no more. So keep letting us know that we're helping you. One last thing, because I've said so much, I'm going to shut the hell up, Abs. But there was one thing I want to say. Thank you to Wesley England. I'm happy to hear that you found that Merlin video on the profit plan, how to make profits, helpful. That means a lot to me. So thank you. We put a lot of time and effort to making it. So thank you for sharing a comment. We love to know that we're helping you. And that to me, Abs, this is what keeps me going. And I know it keeps you going the same because we talk about it all the time.
That and a whole lot of cannolis, my friend. But we got 12,300 live listeners here joining us. Show us some love. Smash that like button. I want to give a huge thank you because we did pass 535 likes on the episode so far. We can keep this thing rocking and rolling because we're having a lot of fun with you guys tonight. And I think people appreciate the content. I also want to give a big shout out to Wesley England, another daily listener. And we see you with the new profile picture. Now, I study these guys. I know my live chat, Johnny. When you guys change your profile pictures, we always notice. So shout out to you guys.
That is scary. You are so right, Absalom. When we meet people in public, the first question I always say to them is, what's your chat name? Because we literally know you guys by your chat name and by or Abs by the images. So that's so cool, man. It's so true, Abs.
It is funny, guys. And I want to give a big shout out to KG as well. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of our daily listeners. I want to make that absolutely clear. We do not take this platform for granted. We are so excited and thankful that we have the ability to discuss these products. Now, I want to talk about this next, Johnny Krypto. This is Jake Claver. talking about the derivatives market and how this is going to be the catalyst to push XRP to price targets we've never seen before. Here it is.
So let me get to the derivatives, because that's where the things get juicy. Okay. And I think this is Ripple's ultimate goal for what they're building. They have a product called Codius that's been in, beta for a long time, but it's a smart contract derivatives platform. So all of these structured derivatives products, right now you can't even quantify derivatives. People don't even know the risk. That's why Lehman and all those people failed in 2008, is they had all these, mortgage-backed securities that they had packaged up and sold and taken leverage on and done a bunch of stuff with, which is gambling, but they do it because they make a bunch of money. They can't even quantify their risk. And nobody can tell you how much the derivatives market's worth. It's somewhere between 400 trillion and like $4 quadrillion.
Wow.
And if you had an accounting mechanism that could be used to identify all the risk across that and issue all these derivatives, because they're complex, you need some smart contracts that are really complex to be able to do this. And that was on the XRPL, and XRP settles those. Now we're talking like $10,000 to $50,000 in XRP. And that's, I think, 5 years.
I mean, guys, if we even saw a $1,000 XRP, I think many people in our live chat would be in a different paradigm, a different parallel reality, kind of like from where they are today, Johnny Krypto. But when you hear numbers like $50,000 or $100,000, I honestly think that's just difficult for me to wrap my head around. I'm just going to give you the open floor while I kind of get my thoughts together. What's your initial reaction with Jake said?
Well, listen, he's not wrong that the derivatives market is massive. It's huge. And so from that perspective, you certainly, could see a higher XRP than $3 or $8 or $10. I haven't actually done the math to go see what's realistic. I'll do it later because I don't want. Thank you, brother Brandon.
Here's a simple math, dude. $17 is $1 trillion in market cap.
Well, no, what I wanted to do was, like if you did 10,000 times, do 10,000 times 100 billion. I think, what is it? A quadrillion or 10 trillion? Is it 100 trillion? I don't even know the number.
It's a headache. It's an ice cream headache. That's what it is.
I mean, it's the number is 10,000. Yeah, that's another. It's ridiculously high. The market cap is so high, and I don't know if it's in the quadrillions. But the thing is this, Abs, I don't expect XRP to run the whole world, to get every single derivative market. You've always heard me say these blockchains and these systems will coexist because that's how the world works. Even the US dollar, it's the reserve of the world, right? But is it the only money on the planet? No. Every country's got their own. They're all coexisting together. Well, that's what I think is going to happen with these crypto blockchain solutions. They're going to coexist, and XRP Ledger will get some of it, and HBAR may get some other, and XLM some other piece of it. We don't know what it's going to look like. And so I don't believe that we can get the XRP loan is going to run the world and get everything. And that's where I think the 10,000 number comes from. So the reality is, I think you really can't hang your hat on those numbers, because if you do, then you're going to end up just what I'm fearful of, right? People are going to think, oh, if you go to 10,000, they're not going to sell a penny. And then they're going to miss out on profits as it's going up, and then they'll watch it go back down. And then, 20 years from like, well, shit, it never hit the number. And you had more times to sell, and you didn't take those opportunities. And now who knows? So all I would advise people is use the Fibonacci tool. Use the tool. The tool is what the elites use. Use the tool. It's in our Merlin video. Click on the link below or go to merlincrypto.com. Sign up 30 days free. You get access to the tool, or to learn. We teach you how to use it. And it will at least give you an idea of what it looks like, okay? And from there, you can make your own predictions of where you think it's going to go. And every time it hits a new high, what's great about the tool is it shows you where the next new high can go. And that's what's really cool about it, Abs, is you don't have to try to figure out where it can go. The Fibonacci's will tell you, what is realistic. And to me, I am going to be sticking to that. And that's how I'm going to be looking at my exit plans. Abs, the one thing about an exit plan, I guess I don't know, maybe we don't talk about this enough. Remember, guys, your exit plan evolves. As you make a new high and then you come out of this cycle.
Profit plan.
You're going to use, profit plan. As you come out of this cycle, you're going to then use this cycle's high and lows to project what the next round is going to be and what that could look like. and for your profit plan. So it's going to get higher and higher. And so you don't have to sit here and just listen to what people are saying and believe, no, just go do the homework yourself. It's not that hard. Watch the video. We show you how to use the fib tool. It's not that hard to do. And then you will put yourself in a position that you can understand realistically where it's going to go versus what people are saying. And then you can determine for yourself how crazy these numbers are. I think realistically, Abs, and you and I talked about price predictions in the past. And I don't know if you want me to save it to the end of the segment, or I can kind of tell you, yeah, wait to the end. Okay. So at the end of it, it's okay. All right. So I would say, like, we've talked about our price predictions, and you guys are all going to like poo-poo them. I know it. But the reality is, when I look at my fibs right now, 6-8 with a stretch to 10 or 12 is a realistic number from the fibs. And guess what? If you take the fibs and you apply them to all the prior bull runs, they've all been somewhat accurate. So why would I now, Abs, go against a tool that's been working year over year over year? Now, yes, I'll be the first one to say new money's coming in. And so maybe we get what's called a super cycle. Well, guess what? Instead of stopping at the 4.26 extension, you can go to the 5.68, 6.68, 7.88, or 8.88 extensions and kind of see where a super cycle takes you. So that's what I encourage people to do. I totally agree with this guy right here. $7 to $10 by the end of the year, Abs, seems very realistic. I will not be disappointed. I honestly believe that's probably where we're going to be by the end of this year. So I know it's not in line with what people are saying, 1,000 to 2,000, but I will not be disappointed with a $7 to $10 XRP this year. What about you, Abs?
Guys, if we see a $7 XRP, not only am I going to be ecstatic, Johnny, think about this.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality of it is, if we saw it before the end of this calendar year, that would mean in 14 months, we went from our 39-cent lows in August to let's just go with the low, the $7 price target.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like 2,000% gains. That is a ridiculous amount of money that people have made. And I think for a lot of people, they should appreciate it instead of waiting for that last $3, $4, $5. That is why we talk about setting targets for yourself, guys. We consistently stick with our narratives. We do not flip-flop. We stand by what we proclaim, Johnny Krypto. And this is what Robbie had to say. Massive thank you for the $9.99. Big shout out to you, my friend. You are absolutely sharing friggin' gold. He says, I'm buying y'all a drink after the next XRP Las Vegas. I hope Jake is right. Now, if Jake's right, we're going to have our own.
Yeah, it's a good friend of mine. A very good friend of mine. You know what he used to say whenever I would say, I hope this, I hope that? He'd say, John, hope is not a strategy. My friend, I hope he's right too, but it's not a strategy. So
shout out to Johnny's friend with the knowledge there. Now, Courtney Jenkins commented, brand new girl in the house. Thank you for helping me understand this, pumping me up, caught up with all your videos and enjoying the live enthusiasm. Yeah. That's what it's all about. You know what's funny, Johnny?
Yeah.
I remember back in the 2021 bull run, I was an Alex Cobb dieharder. I still am to this day. I'm always on his streams, but I used to say, why isn't there more content creators going live, talking, sharing good energy, just live with their communities? I was one of the people who used to love to go in, donate, interact. And I think that's just what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to provide that for people. The people are looking for that sense of community, like-minded people who also own digital assets and XRP. Maybe you're a quote-unquote conspiracy theorist, right? After our C19 trauma, I think a lot of us came out of that a different person. Those people are in this community as well. So a huge shout out to the best community in all of crypto, which is the Good Morning and Good Evening Crypto community. So shout out to you guys. It's all about you.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to Courtney too. I love the fact that there are a lot of women coming in this space. It is so cool, that we're not sitting here and it's not like a sausage fest, It's awesome that we actually have a lot of women in this space. No, seriously, it's true. When you look at technology, I'm a technology guy, right? I've been in technology all my life. 90 to 95% technology usually is just men. And there's about 4 or 5%. Well, the cool thing about crypto, when you look at the numbers in the demographic, it's about 80% men, 70 and 22% women. That's huge. That's 4 to 5x more women in crypto versus any other technology. So shout out to all the women that are here to stay and play in this space as well. I love it. Appreciate you guys. And hopefully we're providing what Abs and I like to call we call it E&E, education and entertainment. Hopefully you're getting both from this channel.
Guys, I actually spent this weekend onboarding another fellow woman into the XRP community. My grandma bought XRP for the first time ever, and we talked about that on Monday's episode. So, of course, shout out to my grandma, the best grandma somebody could ask for. But Johnny Krypto, we got 13,300 people here, guys. We're an hour and 20 minutes into the stream. I want to give a huge thank you to every single person who enjoys the content and watched and celebrated this excitement with us tonight. It's funny, Johnny, because a lot of people would take the approach of like, XRP's pulling back. Is this over? Is this the top? I think we have a well enough understanding.
Is this over? No, I gotta stop you right there. You're right, Abs. A lot of people are like, Johnny, isn't over the party? No, the party's not over, folks. The party is. You're absolutely right, Sherry. Girls like. I always ask people. What women? Why are you in? Like, they're literally. That's always their answer. We want to make money too. Good for you, Shirley. But no, the party's not over, Abs. We're just getting started. You are still very early, but I agree with you, Abs. Once the big institutional money comes here, it may start to become too late. I still think there's a little time to get in. And by the way, I didn't even know because I missed Monday's show. I want to give a shout out to Grandma Abs for getting into Grandma Abs. Shout out to you. Oh, for getting into XRP. I love it.
Now, I'm just like one of 25 grandchildren, so I don't know if she goes by Grandma Abs, but maybe, guys, if my legacy gets big
I
enough.
didn't want to use your last name. That's why I went Grandma Abs. Okay?
She doesn't have my same last name either. She's my grandma on my mother's side.
That's true.
It's too funny. Massive thank you, guys. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. We got 13,400 people. If you enjoyed this stream, you want more content like this, check out my brand new Good Evening Crypto channel. We're going to see you guys in 23 hours. Johnny Krypto, any closing remarks for today? I think people understand we're not fearful. We're celebrating. We're enjoying this process. We're in the midst of a bull market. It is July 24th, 2025, and people are concerned because we're trading at $3.08. It's a new day and age, Johnny. Floor is yours, and we'll wrap it up for today.
Abs, I'm going to wrap it up by this and just say, folks, you are still here early. Take your hand, turn it 180 degrees, pat yourself on the back for being here. You absolutely don't tear a tendon or elbow muscle when you do it. You deserve it. And I'm just sad that the Hulkster ain't here because if he was here, Abs enjoyed us, he would say, what you gonna do when XRP mania runs wild on you?
I can't end it any other way. We love you guys. We appreciate you all. We'll see you in 23 hours, and we'll see you all in the next one.